Hey, how's it going, man? Good to have you here today. This movie
Yup.
we watched was one of my suggestions, but really I feel like it was also one of your suggestions.
It was going to be mine until you beat me to it.
So, what are we watching today?
Heat, 1995. Michael Mann, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Val Kilmer, and everybody else in Hollywood.
John Voight's yeah, quite literally
Natalie Portman.
um Ashley Judd, who like I kept looking at and I was like, is that Charlize Theron?
Dude, I also thought that, and I showed this movie to my wife, and she was just like, "Is that Charlize Theron?" Like that's what I thought.
Yeah, and I was like, when I want to go look it up, there's this whole thing where it's like Ashley Judd, Charlize Theron before Charlize Theron was a thing, and I'm like, good for
Yeah,
Ashley Judd. I don't remember Ashley Judd looking like this, but I might be thinking of her sister.
like for the longest time, I thought it was Charlize in that role.
Um,
I I
s-
was like, "Really?
some
It wasn't her?"
there is actually a couple of castings in here that now, to be fair, I watched the first time I ever watched this movie, I was like 16. So, and that was like the last time I watched this movie. So I had like a vague recollection of really enjoying it, but also, like many decades going by, not only vaguely remembering parts of it. Um, but some of the like now knowing they're in here, like, did not expect a random Hank Azaria, didn't
Yeah,
expect like a random Jeremy Piven,
got Danny
just
Trejo,
who
plays
apparently,
himself.
well, no, he plays his uncle, so he got the part because Michael Mann had filmed a movie where he in prison and he needed the shot caller's approval, so he had to butter up one of the shot callers for the Mexican gangs, who was Danny Trejo's uncle, who also introduced Danny Trejo to both Hollywood and hard drugs. So kind of put
Yeah.
him on his path in many ways. So when Michael Mann was casting this, Danny Trejo came in and he thought it was his uncle. The character's like name originally wasn't even Trejo, it was something completely different. And Michael Mann was so taken by the fact that he wasn't his uncle and was related to this dude anyway. He was like, "You're in the movie." And also, just as an homage to your uncle, we're renaming the character to Trejo. Which Danny must have been
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Hey, that's my
he's playing
last name
himself,
too."
basically. Yeah.
Um, Henry
But
Rollins.
I think he got his start with, Robert Rodriguez actually on Desperado.
Actually, no. So apparently he got his start in a Michael Mann miniseries for TV, like as a
Oh,
bit
shit.
part. Yeah, like that was one of his first forays into acting. So apparently Danny Trejo actually owes quite a bit to Michael Mann. But some of the other ones that like caught me off guard, just a random Henry Rollins, just
Yeah, I know.
uh,
He
and a
just stands
random
there, like, menacingly the whole time.
oh, random Ted Levine, just being the cop from Psych, full on mustache and everything.
Mhm.
Wes Study, the guy from, I think, was it Dances with Wolves that he was in?
Oh,
No,
no,
Last of
no,
the Mohicans.
yeah, yeah, which was Michael Mann's previous film before he you got, Dennis Haysbert, the Nationwide guy.
Who I didn't recognize till he spoke. The minute he said words, I was like, "Oh, wait, no, what? No."
Yeah, he just should have said Nationwide at some point, like,
Um,
you got
a
Tom Noonan, which I didn't for the longest I've seen this movie way more times than you have, like, a lot of times, and I never knew that that was Tom Noonan as the guy with the beard that gives him the job. No idea until like a couple of days ago. I was like, holy shit.
Um, the dude in the hacker in the wheelchair, was that Tom Noonan?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I liked his whole little bit when he was like, "How do you get this info?" And he's like, "Oh, wait, no, I was doing a Pacino, but that wasn't Pacino. It was De Niro who was talking to him."
Just
Um, and he's just like, "Oh, it's just floating out there. You just got to know how to grab it." And I was like,
yeah.
that very much was probably what the early like Wi-Fi and early internet was like, where the people who were using it didn't really understand it, and it was just sort of out there.
Right, yeah, true. You also got like a random tone Loke,
Oh yeah,
and
that's right. That
uh,
just in a bit part in a bar,
or he just plays a snitch.
um, a youngish Natalie Portman who this must have been like a couple of years after Leon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It was definitely before Star Wars. It,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Kevin Gage, who like is in a lot of bad movies. He was the one who
hmm.
played Wayne Grow.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And then you got fucking. I'm looking at IMDb right now. I didn't know this. Martin Ferrero was in it. He was the lawyer in Jurassic Park. Apparently, he's floating around in this movie somewhere. He's casted, and he's casted as construction clerk. No
Martin
idea.
Ferrero. I'm trying to
You know the
the
bloodsucker
lawyer
lawyer
the
in Jurassic
lawyer
Park.
who the lawyer who like gave Newman the whipped cream and stuff, or the
No, 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 no. That was a guy from a different company that was like trying to steal the embryos. The lawyer who got eaten by the T Rex
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
bathroom.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
nice.
He's just a construction clerk in Heat, and I have no idea.
Well, and then the top billers, which I vaguely mentioned, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, in their first, apparently their first on-screen meeting, though there
Yeah,
is a theory that they never actually met because you never
yeah,
see both of them in frame at the same time.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That.
and my favorite, like, like as a teenager, my favorite character in all this, Val Kilmer,
Mhm.
who rewatching this, I was like, good for you, Val Kilmer. Good for you. But so what's the then so we've introduced everybody. Basically, what's the basic premise of this film?
So you got a crew of like bank robbers basically that so it's cool they work really well together, really tight crew. They rip off an armored truck, not taking any of like the cash or anything, but certain bonds which belong to the one guy that we hadn't named yet, who is I don't even know the guy's name.
William Fichtner.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he
yeah,
is
yeah.
he is in
Van
a
Zandt.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. His role in Dark Knight was pretty much like an homage to Heat.
Was it really?
Yeah, yeah, because like they're robbing the bank, and he's just like, oh, like you want to try to steal from me? You're dead. And he's like shooting at him with a shotgun. It's like kind of like they casted him because of Heat, basically. But
This
yeah, they still
dude has been
his
in everything.
yeah, he really has. He's usually a like a an asshole in all of his
Yeah,
roles too.
he's
Like
usually kind of a dick.
yeah, exactly. Except for like Contact, where he was pretty cool in Contact, and that was random. But yeah, so they steal his bonds, and the like the one new guy, Wangro, just goes trigger happy and just murders the guy for no reason, which gets the attention of Al Pacino's character Vincent Hanna, who is just he works homicide, so it goes in his court, and he's just like the best of the best, and he's got he's got nothing to work on except for um our boy Tom Sizemore is just like somebody heard him call Waingro slick, and then that just like spirals out. This is what I love about this movie is that like the very like smallest things is just like getting these guys in trouble and like getting Vincent onto them. It's like just by like casually calling the guy slick, that's how they got in trouble.
Yeah, that's Tone Loke's the one that's like, oh, he's a real slick guy, and he was
He's
like,
like
what did you say?
the slick is no joke. Or sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
this slick is
So,
no joke.
and I was like, I had to stop, and I was like, this is a weird, like, calling someone slick is a very common nickname, especially for that era.
Yeah,
For me,
but
that was a very like save Martha. How do you know that name?
yeah, yeah, for real. Good point. Yeah, so they're in trouble from Vincent. He's on their trail, but also um this other guy Van Zant is after him too because they ripped him off, and so that and then they try to kill Wangro, but he gets away, and then he's out for blood. So they're just getting it from all sides.
I mean,
Then meanwhile,
I don't even know if he's out for blood. He's more of an opportunist. The
yeah, I
only thing
guess so.
with Wayne Grow, like him killing a random hooker, like that goes nowhere. Like it's
Well,
it,
I mean, as far as that like B plot goes, yeah, you're right. It goes nowhere, but it does serve a purpose in which we see how Vincent like reacts to that kind of situation where he goes on this scene and like he just sees like another like terrible murder, and then he sees how it affects other people. Like he there's the crying mother, and like you see him, he grabs her and then turns her around so she doesn't look at the body, and then later on that comes back with Natalie Portman when she tries to commit suicide, and then her mom comes in and he grabs her and turns her around. So it's like a callback to that, which I thought was pretty cool. And then he goes home and he's just like drinking. You can see it really bothers him, but it's fucking up with his relationship because he can't open up to his wife because he says that he needs to like keep that on edge so he can like be sharp and take down the bad guys, which is very unhealthy. But as far as like the character development goes, that like I kind of dig that, and so that's kind of the only purpose for that murder of the sex worker is that he's just it just shows how he reacts to that situation and how
I
he like uses that forwards on other characters.
I mean he's very within his own ways caring for other people, but not the people he should unless his hand is forced. Like he very much like in my notes I wrote that he was consumed by the hunt. Like that was
Yeah. Oh yeah.
all he could think about, and it's kind of a cliche for the era where it's like the you're married to your job, not me.
Yeah.
Um especially for like, hard-boiled detective stories or even like noir detective stories where it's like, the man married to his job and he's like, I got to bring these criminals in because they ain't gonna bring themselves, and they ruin like all the relationships in their life. Which
Yeah.
very much is like I think they mentioned that this is his like third marriage,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, which
Which,
you know
which
his
I
his.
like.
Do you like being
Uh
on a third marriage?
no I like that this movie shows their relationships, all the characters, like they all have a partner and they all like kind of have different
Well,
relationships, and so like I think a lesser movie would have just been wouldn't have shown that, but it just like it gives the characters more life,
I
and
like the
more drama.
duality between him and Neil McCauley, which is Robert De Niro's character,
Right.
Vincent Hanna, Al Pacino's character, and then his polar opposite is the Neil McCauley, who's like the person setting up all these heists and all these jobs. He's very much the counterpoint, the other side to Al Pacino's character, whereas like Pacino can't let things go. Um, De Niro's character Macaulay, he's got a steadfast rule that it's like if you can't let it go in 30 seconds, it ain't worth it. It's part of his like rigid code, and it's the code that has kept him out of jail. It's the code that has made sure that he's got nothing on him. Like when they
Mhm.
run background checks on the crew, his is the only one that comes back clean, which is interesting because you find out later that he did do time. They just didn't have anything on it, which I found very fascinating. But then again, this is an era before the internet, so
I
like they would
I
have
think
had a
that they just didn't know who he was at the time when they saw them.
That's fair.
Um,
Um but like, he's got very much this like burgeoning relationship that that he wants to grow and build on, which goes against his code. Whereas like Pacino's character, who is who's the policeman who's supposed to have this moral, rigid code, his relationships he doesn't mind throwing by the wayside for the job. Whereas like I thought it was cool that De Niro's character, who has been entirely about the job, doesn't mind throwing the job away for the hope of this relationship.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
he was gonna retire regardless. That was his plan. So I don't know if he was gonna throw the job away. Um, it was just like he saw the exit door and he just wanted to like start something new. But he should have waited until he was already out. Uh, but what's interesting is both these guys they have this like strict code, but it's like they let both of them let their code like ruin their lives basically. Like with Vincent, it ruins his relationship with all of his wives, and like he can't because he's so like trying to bring down these bad guys and chase them around. He can't establish like a true relationship, and it just drives his wife crazy. Meanwhile, you got uh, Neil who can't live. Like he has no furniture for before this movie starts. He has no relationships. He has no friendships. He just like, what's the point of all that money if like you're not even going to use it? And he just has just this empty house or apartment, and like he can't live his life.
I mean, I
But
guess the closest thing he has to a friendship is uh I was gonna
it's
say Vin
true.
Diesel, that's wrong. Is but
Probably Vin
Val
Diesel.
Kilmer's character,
Yeah, and
he
and
seems
like
to have
Tom
the most
Sizemore
connection with.
and Trejo. But
Um but even then, like once Trejo was out of the picture, it seemed like he was, at least to me, it seemed like he was very like, oh well, that sucks. Whereas like when Val Kilmer's character
he was
was,
upset about
yeah,
yeah.
was going through some shit, he was like, oh, I'm gonna get so much vengeance for Val Kilmer. And I
I
get
mean,
it, I
I don't know
understand it.
about that,
I would do it for
but
Val too.
he was like, "Why'd you let him go?" And John Voight's just like, "It's a free country, brother." Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I thought
like
that was actually a really good line.
he does care about Chris. But also they kind of break their code too because like So his thing that he keeps repeating over and over again is like, don't have anything in your life that like you want to leave in 30 seconds if you feel the heat around the corner. Like he felt the heat around the corner for like a long part of the movie. Like after he finds out that the cops are trailing him, he has the out. Like he should have just been like, "We're not going to do this job," but he says, "Fuck that." He's like, "It's worth the risk," and that's his undoing. Which is another cool thing about this movie. Each of the characters, they all do something to like themselves over. Like he does that. He knew that Vincent was after him, and Vincent was like the best cop to like chase him, and he still does it. And he goes after Wingro at the end when he
That was
knew he
my
shouldn't
biggest
have.
that was my biggest issue with this movie. And you know what's funny? It's like having watched this years ago, um, I immediately got mad again, where I was just like, why, why, what? Just let him. Just you got the girl, you got the out, like
He
just
had the
go.
money
Yeah,
too. Like
like you have everything you need and could want. Just go. Like who Danny Trejo did not mean that much to you. Tom Sizemore didn't mean that much to you. You already made sure Val Kilmer is fine, and he's fine. He just want to go visit his old lady. Like everything is fine. You don't need to kill Wayne Grow.
yeah, and Val Kilmer's the only one who
Yep.
doesn't like fuck up because like he sees the signal that his wife gave him and he's out. Then you have Tom Sizemore who's like eh, same as Neil. Like he knew that the thing was going. He was like, he's got a family. He's got like all these like investments and all this shit. He didn't need it, but he's like, fuck it, it's the juice. So he gets killed, and then also he said slick, which got them in trouble. And then you got Wanger who killed the guy.
I feel
Uh,
like Val Kilmer was the only one who listened to his woman. Like
well,
she
she
was.
specifically says she quote her, "I'm married to a gambling junkie who won't listen."
Yep.
So how do you explain that?
So, well, that's the thing. When he finally like this whole movie is sort of a character. It's like each of the characters, except for the ones that died, obviously. They go through these shifts in personality. Like she says, "Oh, he's a gambling junkie who never listens." When he finally did the thing that was out of character, which was listen to her,
Yeah.
that's what changed the inevitable outcome for him.
Hmm.
But like, if Pacino's character had just like stayed home and spent more time, he would have a TV. Like, um, his his his
Yeah.
his daughter wouldn't be, in recovery.
Right.
And I mean, the one who got it the worst was like Neil's character, De Niro's character. If he had listened to the woman, he would be alive, and they would be in New Zealand.
Um. You know. Well, never mind. I was gonna bring something up, but I remember in the itinerary you were going to. There's a whole section where we talk about like all the counterpart like wives or girlfriends. I was about to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
something, but
I
or
had
we
it as
could
a
jump
note.
into it now.
Well, and then we've talked quite a bit about like the supporting ensemble. So there's Chris, who's Val Kilmer. There's also the random addition of the State Farm guy,
Yeah, Allstate.
Allstate guy who sort of just randomly comes into all this.
Yeah, we're
Um,
watching him throughout. Like he exists throughout the movie with like no relation to anything, as it's just like random as fuck. And it's like, what the fuck does this guy have to do with anything?
well, that's the other thing. Like it's also part of that sort of like if he had listened to it, like his girlfriend was like, "Hey man, just be cool, don't be messy, just stick with it and we will find you something better." And
Yeah.
then Robert De Niro's like, "Hey man, you want to do crime?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, let's go do crime," and dies.
Yeah, he does hesitate though. Like I like that. I really love this character, and like both of them, their relationship because it's like he gets out of prison and we meet him. He's getting a job, or like he's with his girlfriend or wife, and she's just like, "Hey, like good luck. Like you got this." She's been like really supportive, and it's just like warms your heart of how like their relationship is, and then he goes into his job and his boss is just being just a total fucking shithead. He's like stealing from him like his paycheck. He's like 20% of your paycheck goes to me, and like you don't like it tough, like and it's just a lot of bullshit, and he can't fucking handle it. He says, "I did time for what that motherfucker did, what he does every day," and then, but his wife is at his side, and she's just like, "Can you just stick with it till we find you something new?" Like you were saying, and it's just like, man, like it is just like really like wholesome part. And then when Neil comes up to him, he's just like, I need a driver, like yes or no, right now. And he just stands there and he just thinks about it. And he knows it's a bad idea. And he's probably thinking about his wife too. But then he ultimately like he's not happy. So he's just like, fuck it, like let's do it.
I do like that he throws his manager to the ground though.
Yeah. And then at the end when she's at the bar and she sees like the news thing, it shows his face and she doesn't say anything. It just shows her like reaction to it, and you can just feel the heartbreak. It hurts of how like the like and there's the whole scene where he's like, "What are you hanging out with me for?" And it's just like, "I'm proud of you." And he's just like, what do you gotta be proud of me for?" And it's just like, I don't know, just the heartbreak at the end when she finds out that he was like part of the robbery. It really hits.
I mean, I like there's a lot of little moments in this movie that it, for one, it's like a 3 hour movie, so it has time to do some of this character development, but I like the
Yeah,
little moments. Like I
yeah,
like when they're all sitting down to family dinner. Like, and
yeah.
you can tell who the regulars in his crew are because they're the ones that were there for family dinner. Um, so I thought that was like a nice little moment of like, oh look, they have normalcy outside of the
Hmm.
really, really well constructed
Yeah.
armor car heist, which
They're just joking around and like yeah, having like a good time. Which Neil,
which
he's the only one who's single, and it like makes him want to call Edie because he starts to feel lonely because like he says earlier, like I'm alone, I'm not lonely. No, he is lonely, and like so he calls her because like he's around all these families who are like everybody's smiling, and then after that you show all the cops with their families, which was a really cool like I guess not juxtaposition, but like similarity, I guess.
yeah, like duality, like counterpoint.
Yeah.
Um, I yeah, I like the crime family dinner like was wholesome, was like heartwarming, where it's like the cop dinner or the cop get together, everybody was drunk. Like it was sloppy, it was messy.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's that like counterpoint. Like this movie is a lot of like this is the opposite to that. Like, yeah, here are these people that are criminals and they're like we consider them to be the worst of the worst, but here they are being like a very loving, like normal, healthy, like family bond. And then they're
Mhm.
like, here are the people that are supposed to like protect us and be the bastions of justice. Oh, that one's doing blow. Like,
You're right. Well, Al Pacino, he's supposedly his character was supposed to be like high uncle, like the entire movie.
what was the what's the Al Pacino movie where it's
Scarface?
no, no, no. Uh the one where it's like, put down the Krispy Kreme, Serpico.
Oh, yeah.
Um, which we should watch at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait, is that Al Pacino? That is Al
yeah.
Pacino, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is just him, another like hard-boiled detective movie with
Yeah, he's bringing down the corrupt police.
dressed as a hippie. It's been a while since I've seen Sir. And you know what though? But Serpico is a really good counterpoint to Vincent Hanna because Serpico, the system is against him. He's actually really good. Uh,
Mhm. I
so it's
mean,
interesting.
he's good in this movie too. Like he's very, he just wants to like stop the guys from hurting the families and like innocent people and stuff. Like another like really big moment is when at the diner scene when he's talking to Neil and he says, if it's between you and some poor bastard whose wife you're going to make a widow, you're going down. And then at the bank scene, he shoots like the one of the cops gets killed. But we saw him earlier with his family, so you saw him with his girl, and so it's like there it is. There's the poor bastard, his wife. You just made a widow. Like all the like little scenes that seem to like not have anything to do with anything end up later on being important because like when that guy gets killed, like it means something because we saw him with his wife earlier, and so now we're thinking about her like damn, she just lost her husband.
What's interesting is even so that scene, that diner scene is like supposed to be not even supposed to, but it is legendary. Like it is one of those scenes that for filmmakers it's sort of set just an idea like that how it's shot over the shoulder back and forth back and forth. What's interesting is you see touches of that in so many other movies and other movies that just put people like in that same diner as homages. I feel like a lot of parts of Heat do that actually. Uh even like the armored card heist. Like there's that Ben Affleck movie where they rob an armored car in a very, very similar fashion.
Oh yeah.
And you were saying like the Dark Knight
Hmm.
was inspired by
Yeah. Oh, you ever play the GTA games?
yeah, actually so the uh Fichtner, oh my God, I can't pronounce his
I
name.
think it's
Uh
Fishner or Fitch.
yeah, exactly, that's right.
I can say it in
Uh
my head, but
Ficht
Fitchner.
Fichtner. Let's just call him William. William
Oh, okay.
F. He is in like a ton of those games. Like he is in so many. He was in
Yeah.
like Vice City. He was in San Andreas.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I imagine there's probably a couple missions that are just
Oh,
Heat.
yeah. Vice City, there's a bank robbery that's just like this bank robbery, and then GTA 5 has a bunch of shit from Heat. Like the like in GTA 5 there's a mission where you hit an armored truck with like a truck or something and it gets knocked down like exactly like Heat. And
Well,
then there's some
even
like online missions with a bank robbery.
the bank robbery and shootout, which is also a like legendary scene, and it's one of the things I remembered from this movie was just
Yeah.
Val Kilmer like standing in the middle of the street just shooting like a badass. And actually I found out so they all went through like extremely rigorous special weapons training
Right. Yeah.
with special forces.
Yeah.
So much so that Val Kilmer got so proficient that they show the clip of him doing mag changes to Marines as an
Mhm.
example of how to do like a perfect mag change under fire. And there's a joke in the Marines, or there's a saying with certain drill sergeants that you're not worth your salt if you can't change a mag faster than an actor,
Yeah.
which is, like Val Kilmer, like when he got into stuff, he got into stuff, but that's how proficient he got at shooting. And another
And yeah,
really
you could
cool
really
thing.
see it in the
Yeah,
movie. Like when
yeah.
he's like going back and forth, he turns around and shoots, and turns back around and shoots.
Well, and even his
And
stance, his like shooting stance is really good.
mhm.
Another cool thing that I learned about the shootout was that Michael Mann doesn't like the sound of um, canned arms fire. Like he never liked how like putting shooting sounds in Foley. So he mic'd the cars and the scenery. He mic'd everything for that shootout
It
so he
sounds
could
so
get
good.
he yeah, so he could get the actual sounds of gunfire and how they sounded echoing off the walls of buildings
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
echoing off of people, which is why it sounds so good. And I watched this movie through a headset. Oh my God, it sounds so good through a headset.
Also, it looked really cool too because like when they're in the car and they're driving off, and then you got Robert De Niro who shoots the gun through the windshield, and like it shows the whole, and like the windshield didn't shatter or anything. Like it's just like there's now just holes in the windshield, and the rear view mirror just falls off. Like that looked really awesome.
Well, so I actually I went back to watch the 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 shootout a couple of times because the shootout happens really fast. And I was trying to find where the cameramen were hidden because there's certain like long shots that you're seeing from, you're seeing the action from two different angles, and they must have shot the same scene a couple of times to have gotten it clean. But I had to go back and I'm like, did they put the cameraman in the car? Like, is he shooting from a bush? Like, where is he?
Yeah,
And which is just, I mean, the filmography for this movie, amazing. Like,
so
actually,
well
I
made.
I wonder who the director of photography was. 'Cause phenomenal. But also, you can sort of see Michael Mann's miniseries, like TV show roots, because this movie, like you could have cut this movie up into like or six episodes. Like you could have cut it down into 20-minute segments because it has very natural breaks. Like the movie
Yeah,
could,
yeah, it
yeah,
does.
like a an episode could end right before the family dinner starts, and then it would start with the family dinner.
Yeah, you could like in the first one after the arm truck robbery,
Yeah,
and like
like they,
when they get in, they blow up the ambulance and they drive off. Like, bam, right there.
or even when he showed when he shows up to the hotel to kill Wainwright with Edie, like just him driving up, that you could overlay the credits and overlay like closed captioned in blah 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 blah, and that would be a perfect starting point.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the filmography
Oh,
for it.
dude, it's like he's on the highway and he gets a phone call that Wingro's in the
Yeah.
hotel, and then he's like, all right, whatever, and he's just driving, and then he like turns off the highway, exits the highway, and he's just like, this is just a thing I need to do, and that's like the cliffhanger for the next episode.
There's like very natural stopping points. What's interesting is, so I looked up who the director of filmography is for this. It's a gentleman called Dante Spinotti, who was the DP for Last of the Mohicans, LA
Okay.
Confidential.
Mm.
He also did Freak Show, the new one, not the old one.
Mm.
Um, Ant-Man and the Wasp just recently.
That's
But
random.
like X-Men Last Stand, he's got like
Okay.
he's got a very solid. He did Hudson Hawk. Do you remember
Yeah.
that movie? Yeah, which is another like it's a funny crime movie, but still a crime movie. So, yeah, this dude's chops go back to the 70s. Apparently he was like shooting Italian um crime dramas, which is very, very cool.
Okay.
Um, so the we've talked about like the car heist and the dinner scene and the robbery. Those are sort of like the key plot points of the movie. Was there any other like big developmental like key plot points that you want to call out?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I wanted to bring up Vincent's wife. Um, what's her face? um,
Vincent's wife. I don't. What was her
Justine.
name?
It's Justine.
Oh, I was trying to
Um,
think of the actress's name.
oh, yeah. I don't know her name either.
Yeah, she's like the one Diane Venora. I didn't recognize her from anything.
Yeah, me neither. But her character, very unlikable. She's perhaps not the worst character, but she's up there. Wayne Grove, of course, is the worst one. He's the Nazi serial rapist murderer who fucked everything up for everybody. Um, like if he didn't exist, they would have just robbed the bank and then gone the credits. Um, but her though, uh, it Justine is a very interesting character as because she is upset that her husband Vincent is never around, and she's pretty much like she's married but she's single, and she's upset by that, and she has a right to be upset by the like. Yeah, of course, you want your partner to be there for you and show up and be your partner. Makes total sense. You can't be mad at her for that, but she kind of really goes overboard. She doesn't really listen to anybody. Like he's saying like you know like his job, which he did say he'd tell her when they got married, was look, I am a homicide detective. I solve murders and I bring down murderers. I need to be on the streets. And that should have been a red flag for her, but she ignored that red flag and she married him anyway and then still got mad at him about it. Um, but however, she does say there's a line she says that I really like, which is um, that's like he says, when we got together, I told you you'd have to share me with all the bad guys and all the horrible shit in the world. And she says, this isn't sharing. This is leftovers. So
Yeah.
she's not even sharing, which is also valid. Good point. He kind of isn't giving her any time of the day, which sucks for her. I totally get that. But like at the same time though, she's just still complaining about it and it's all she cares about it so much that her daughter is upset going through anxiety because she's got dad issues because her dad isn't like there for her, and so she's going to her mom for help, and her mom just like she's too preoccupied on Vincent. She's just like, honey, like shut the fuck up. I don't care about your daddy issues. I just want my husband to be home after he told me he wasn't going to be home. you know, like, and she ignores her daughter so much that her daughter, like, goes to suicide. And, like, when she breaks up with Vincent and cheats on, oh, yeah, I didn't even get to the cheat on him part. Like, she's so upset with him. She wants to, like, get a rise out of him by, like, fucking this other dude in their house, uh, and just to, like, get a reaction out of him. Which, and then in front of this guy Ralph, she's like, I have to demean myself in front of Ralph. Like, damn, dude, sucks for fucking Ralph.
I will say it did. The Ralph was definitely being used. I don't. I don't consider Justine that bad a character. I consider her a bad mother. Like she definitely
Well,
needed
yeah,
to
that makes
be
her a
there
bad character.
for her daughter a
I mean,
whole lot more
as far as like
than
the
when her
narrative goes, as far as the narrative goes, she is a good character. She's a very well written character, but
I
she's
think
a
she's
shitty person.
I don't know if she's a shitty person. She's definitely a shitty mother, but I won't peg all of being shitty on that because when her daughter, does have like a freak out about her dad, like, oh, I need to find my barrettes before dad gets here. Like she already knows that her ex-husband's not going to show up, but she still comes out of the zone she's in to like hug her daughter and calm her down and tell her everything's going to be okay and that we're going to find the barrettes together. We're going to do it together and I'm here even if your dad isn't. So very much the relationship that is happening with her daughter and her daughter's father, like a lot of that is happening to her with Vincent.
Yeah,
I
true.
really like the part where she tells Vincent, "You don't live with me. You live
Yeah.
among the remains of dead people."
Yeah.
Like she's not being dramatic. She's
Oh,
telling him exactly how it
I
is.
I agree with that. Like
Uh,
she's absolutely right about it. She just goes about it a really shitty way, and like she tries to like get his attention by fucking this other dude by cheating on him, and like that's not how you go about it. Like if you're unhappy, then like divorce him.
but that's the thing.
Now,
Like she's tried to tell him multiple times that she's unhappy. Like I feel like Vincent expects her to be this like this sort of just like static thing
yeah, he does.
that he can return to, that he can come back like as a break from the carnage, from everything that's out there. And she
But he
doesn't
also
want to.
won't even talk to her about it either.
Correct. Like he wants her to just play house and
Yeah,
be a wife. Like
yeah,
he
that's
doesn't
true.
want her to be a person.
I agree.
And she finally snaps. And yeah, does she go about it a shitty way? Sure, but
That's what I'm
is
saying.
she justified in it? Like I don't know.
She's
Like,
justified in feeling really terrible about the situation and being upset about it.
but here's the thing,
Um,
like she tries to play by his rules that he set, like by his, I like this the job comes first, this is what it is. Like she tries to do all that, but then he fails to show up. Um Not because he's like at the job, not because he's doing the job, just because mentally he's not able to leave the job. Like I think it would be different if okay, the job came first, but when you're here, you're us. Like you're my husband, you're in this relationship, you're all in. But even at home, he can't separate and he can't do that. So
yeah,
essentially she's not even getting part of a person, she's getting nothing.
yeah, and that's true. That's why her position sucks. Like I don't want to make any uh, like I don't want you think that like I think that she's shitty just for no reason. Like it's very well written. Like reason to be upset. She just goes about it a wrong way. And back to the daughter though. Like you said earlier that she was like comforting her daughter and everything. That was after like she spent a good time like not paying attention to her because she's like
Yeah.
reading the newspaper, walking around eating a bagel, and Natalie Portman is just I'm freaking out because I can't find my breasts, and she's like, "Mom, pay attention." She's like, "What?" And after like she's not even listening to her, and like she had to after a good amount of time of ignoring her daughter, she finally understood, and she's like, "All right, fine, we'll find them. Like, don't worry about it." She wasn't saying "don't worry about it" to comfort her. She was saying "don't worry about it" to like get her to shut up and stop bothering her. And then at the end of the day, Vincent comes home, and what's the first thing he asks? It's how is she? Did her dad come pick her up? Like, how is she? Um and then Justine's response is, "No, he didn't pick her up. She's upset, and so am I because you didn't come home." Like she again doesn't like care about her daughter at all. She only cares about Vincent, who said he was going to be gone. He might have been gone longer than he said he was going to be, but he was still like she doesn't care about her daughter at all.
Oh, I mean, I don't know about at all, but I think she cares as much for her daughter as Vincent cares for her. Which is
Mm.
why, like, when they're sitting in the hospital,
Yeah.
it's not loving in any way. Like, even when, Vincent comes home and, like, the other man is sitting there, like, he's not even mad about the cheating. Like,
Yeah.
he's mad, like, it feels more like he's mad that she sprung it on him. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. He takes his TV and leaves, doesn't do anything about the dude, doesn't do anything about her. Like, we know this is his third marriage. He's probably already been through this two other times.
Yeah.
Um, which is like why, like, yeah, does she go about it in a shitty way? Sure. But at the same time, if he doesn't care, like, her intent was to hurt him and he wasn't that hurt by it. The only purpose to it is just to show that this is the point where these characters break from each other, and the only thing that gets them to come back together is like this Natalie Portman trying to kill herself. But even then, they're probably not going to stay together. Like,
Well, yeah, because she asks, "Is there any way we could make this work?" And he basically says no. He says, "I wish we could make it work, but end of the day, I'm still all I'm going after, or all I am is what I'm going after."
that's the
And
thing.
he's
Like,
not going after her.
at the end of the day, like, all he cares about is the hunt, is like the adrenaline of the chase, the love of the
Mhm.
chase. Which is probably why he's also on his third wife, because that's probably also he feeds on that same energy of the chase and the conquest and the capture. And then once he's
Yeah.
there, like, once it's resolved, he doesn't do anything to nurture it. In the job, like, once you put the person behind bars or shoot them, like, that's the end of it. You don't have to continue to work on that.
Right.
But that's the problem with the marriage, is once he has the marriage, has the girl, like, for him it's done. He expects it to just be done, not to have to work on it, which he doesn't. Which is interesting, where it's like Neil, who's supposed to be the bad guy, all his relationships tend to be a lot healthier.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's so like the psychology of all these characters is so interesting and different from most other movies. It's
which
not
is
just like good guy is good, bad guy is bad.
which again is very very a lot of these like hard-boiled detective stories and like crime thrillers of not only this era but even going back to some of the noir stuff do really good at this back and forth of looking at the motivations of characters. Um, I am impressed that an almost 3 hour movie like made it to theaters because I don't think modern audiences could get past like
uh, I'm
90 minutes.
sure a lot of them didn't. Like this is like it's not a cult classic, but it kind of is because like I feel like it's more popular now than it was back then.
I- Maybe I don't know. Like I don't hear a lot of people talk about Heat too much, but I do remember it sort of being in the consciousness back then. I think really Heat nowadays is gonna be a movie for like film geeks or anybody that's
Yeah.
watching like TBS. If that because that's where I originally saw it like way back in the day.
Yeah.
So we've covered a couple of like themes and a couple of the allegory, like the duality of characters and the cost of obsession. Um, let's talk about uh Los Angeles as a character, which is I feel like a lot of both movies of the era and movies that were inspired by this um sort of paint the city as a character. Like this movie was really good at like everything was kind of blue hued. Um
Yeah.
like they had put like a dark filter in front of everything.
Yeah,
And like
it
I
it
originally
generally
wrote
looked
my
like
note
it.
was it was sort of an emphasis on like loneliness because they also did spend a lot of time like pan over shots over like empty spaces and demolished buildings. Whereas like then you look at the characters' lives and a lot of it like is like bright and color well not colorful but like illuminated like where they live. And I think a lot of that, city as a character they took for the Dark Knight because very much that city like that Gotham feels alive like this version of LA did for me.
Okay, nice. Yeah, good point.
But yeah, so you had mentioned that there's a sequel and a prequel to Heat. Now I did see something about he had originally filmed a short film version that he shopped around as a pilot. Is
Yeah,
that the
it's
prequel?
90 minutes. Yeah, it's
Okay.
called LA Takedown. It's like it's a feature length movie that didn't go to theaters. It only like went to TV. Michael Mann filmed it. It's called LA Takedown, and it's the same script from Heat. Same characters, same plot, like word for word dialogue, only it's half the time. So a lot of characters don't exist, and some scenes don't exist. But like the main things, all the B plots are gone. So Natalie Portman's character doesn't exist. The Allstate guy, he's not there. Um, and like, but like, so the movie starts with the the robbery, the arm truck robbery, right? That happens. Wingro shoots the guy, but it's a lot faster. In Heat, that scene is like 20 minutes long. In LA Takedown, it's like 5 minutes. It's just everything in like fast forward, and and then the same thing happens, and it's way lower budget, way worse actors. The acting in LA Takedown is atrocious, and Vincent and Neil, the two actors that play them, they look exactly the same. Like I was confused during some parts of the movie. I was like, who is who? I can't tell. And Yeah, it's just on fast forward now, which is an interesting thing because all the things we were talking about, like all the dualities and the relationships and all of that, like the character study, none of that's in LA Takedown. And so because that's not an LA Takedown, nothing really like you don't care about any of the characters. It's just the shit happens and you don't care and the movie's over. And I was actually very bored by it. It sucked. But it is early Michael Mann. It came out in like 1989, like right after Manhunt, and like you could tell that it's the same directing style as Manhunt. I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely Michael Mann for sure. So it's interesting to compare it. So it's like the dialogue's almost exactly the same, but interesting. So since, like I said, the Allstate guy is not there, the driver, um, there's the scene in Heat where he's with his wife and he's all like depressed and he's saying, "What are you hanging out with me for?" And she says, "Because I'm proud of you." And he's like, "What do you got to be proud of me for?" That dialogue is actually between Vincent and Justine. Can you
Hmm.
imagine that
I
at all?
I'm like
It's
trying
weird,
like
right?
maybe early in the movie.
So that's like the big difference. Is their relationship. In LA Takedown, he does come home. She's upset in Heat because he doesn't talk to her. He doesn't share like the job with her. In LA Takedown, he does. Like he goes home and he's like traumatized after Wangro like killed the sex worker. He goes home and he's just like drunk and he's just drinking whiskey and he's like just really bothered by it. And then he goes and he talks to Justine about it. And so much to the fact that like sh well, first she's like, "I'm proud of you." And he's like, "What do you got to be proud of me for?" Like he's like feeling like really shitty about himself. And then he just keeps like trauma dumping on her to the point where she's like, "All right, you need to stop talking to me about your job." And so it is a very interesting like juxtaposition from that and Heat because their relationship, while still um not good, is very opposite. And so
So,
it's very interesting to compare.
so Michael Mann has been working on a sequel slash prequel for Heat since 2016. He actually wrote a novel that's literally just called Heat 2.
Yeah, I
Uh,
listened to part of the
Audiobook.
audiobook and the narrator drove me nuts. I couldn't finish it because the narrator fucking sucked.
I mean, it sounds interesting as a like if the actual film version were to pick off because it's supposed to cover like Hannah's developmental years as he moves his way up through like the detective position to, being like the chief detective or whatever he is in this movie. Um, what's interesting is like who would you get to be a young Pacino? Like this would have
I
made more
have that answer for you if you
do
want it.
I mean, who do you get to be a young Pacino?
It's Adam Driver.
So I saw the casting for Adam Driver. I just can't like I could see him more as like a De Niro replacement. Like you stick a mole on him, you cut his hair. Like I could
Oh
see
no,
him do De
he
Niro.
might be. He could be. I know that he's in it, and I know that Austin Butler is in it, and I think he's De Niro. But maybe I have him switched.
Well,
Could you
so
rather see Austin Butler as Al Pacino?
well, no. So I thought Austin Butler was supposed to play. So the other part, because it's both a prequel and a sequel, so it covers Vincent Hanna's early years, but then it also covers him hunting down Chris because Chris got away, so he's
Right,
still out there.
and
So
he's Leonardo DiCaprio.
is Chris Leonardo DiCaprio? See, I could
No,
see.
no, I think he's Al Pacino.
See, I could see Austin uh Butler being
A young version of Chris. And I think he is
yeah.
Chris, actually. I was tripping. Yeah, Austin Butler is the young version of Chris.
Yeah, see, I could see Austin Butler, like, he kind of looks like young Val Kilmer. Like, I could totally see that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
you're right. Yeah, I was tripping. Um, yeah, so it's Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, as Vincent, Austin Butler as a young Chris, and Adam Driver as oh he might be Neo. Yeah, I think he's a young Neo.
okay, so Adam Driver would be, yeah, you stick a mole on him, cut his hair, and yeah,
Yeah,
he could be a young De Niro. I could see that. Um,
and goatee. Don't forget the goatee.
that's true.
That's the one thing that differentiates his role from every other one of his roles is he's got a goatee in this movie.
And Pacino doesn't, because a lot of the times Pacino is rocking the goatee. Um, I mean, it'll be interesting. I hope it gets off the ground. I don't think I part of me also, is just like don't do it. Like don't make a Heat 2. Though he has talked about not making a Heat 2 and just putting out a whole bunch of more novels in the same universe as Heat,
Yeah,
which would be good. Or I'd watch a streaming series, like crime series from Michael Mann in the same universe as Heat, which is just LA. I guess it's just LA in the 90s.
right.
Um, I think so. I think we've covered basically everything I wanted to cover in this sort of episode. Like we covered, like the ambiguity between the characters and the emotional weight of like a lot of characters' loss. Um, One final thought, though, on this film's legacy. Like, what sort of legacy do you see with this film? Like, beyond, Dark Knight.
I mean, yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, Dark Knight, GTA, like it's all over. Pop culture. Um,
I, yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, even in the way that um, it's filmed, like, a lot of the action sequences, I think, really got used into because what was this? This was like 95.
yeah,
A lot of the action sequences really got used like into the late 90s, early 2000s, and I think you're starting to see sort of there was a whole era of these movies like um you had like Ronin, which was another Robert De Niro one, which is a great movie, but then you had The Town, which I think is Affleck is The Town.
yeah, yeah. He
But then
directed that movie.
yeah, yeah, that's the one. But then there was also like Public Enemies, even movies.
Which is
Uh,
also Michael Mann. Michael
is
Mann
it
did
really?
Public
Oh,
Enemy.
so well, Michael Mann can't inspire Michael Mann. He's Michael Mann.
Yeah,
Um, that was Public Enemies. That was the John Dillinger one, right?
yeah, with Johnny
With
Depp.
Johnny Depp and Christian Bale. Yeah, man, that's a really good movie too. Like, I, what's Michael Mann been doing lately? Has he been doing anything lately?
Heat too. He did the
I
book, and
mean,
then now he's doing the movie. Let me see.
other
What's he
than
got going?
Heat 2. I mean, he did Ferrari. So
Yeah,
apparently Ferrari was a passion project for him. It was a good movie. Like it wasn't Heat. Um but yeah, since Public Enemies, he did something called Black Hat,
yeah. I've never
which
heard of that.
I also never even heard about, but apparently it's got Chris Hemsworth. So I might check that out just to, for some good
And
old
then, of
Michael
course, he
Mann.
did Collateral, which is probably his biggest movie,
Really? You think
and
it's bigger than Heat?
it's more popular for sure.
Yeah,
Like
that's fair.
it was huge when it came out, and then Miami Vice, which was pretty popular when it came out, but I think quickly forgotten about. And then Ali, which is
Miami
random.
Vice, the movie, the one with
The movie, yeah,
Jamie Foxx?
yeah.
Wow, did not know. I mean, I guess good for Michael Mann.
It's interesting. Of So most of his movies are about like crime thrillers,
Yeah.
just like cops and robbers, basically. And then he like sprinkles just random shit in between them. So like if you look at his old shit, he did Police Woman is his first movie. Uh, Police Woman. You got Thief, which is like kind of like Heat. You got Manhunter, which is the original Silence of the Lambs. Have you seen Manhunter?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's Silence of the Lambs.
Hmm, it's kind of
Um,
cool. It's
yeah,
like it's based off what is Silence of the Red Dragon? Was
no,
that
Red Dragon
Silence?
is the so there's three books: Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal. And so Silence of the Lambs is the second movie in the series. And then Red Dragon, they later made a prequel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So Manhunter is Silence of the Lambs, and it's if you take Silence of the Lambs, the movie with Anthony Hopkins, it's the exact same movie, but it came out in 1986, and you got Hannibal played by Brian Cox, and so yeah, it's a pretty cool movie. Um, Or actually, no, I'm sorry. It's not Silence of the Lambs. Manhunter is Red Dragon. You were right. Yeah, my
Oh,
bad.
which is funny because I literally thought Red Dragon was the one novel that
No,
covered all
yeah,
of them. I didn't
it's
think there
a
was an actual novel called Silence of the Lambs. I
yeah,
thought Red
it's a
Dragon.
trilogy.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah, Red
Obviously, I
Dragon
have
is the
not.
first one.
Obviously,
So
I have
yeah,
not read the books.
here's how it goes. The author of those books of the Hannibal series, he wrote Red Dragon, and then Michael Mann made a movie based on Red Dragon called Manhunter. Then the author of the book Red Dragon made a sequel to it called Silence of the Lambs. And then later on, they made a Silence of the Lambs movie, which is technically a sequel to Manhunter. And then the author, he wrote Hannibal. Then they made the movie for Hannibal. Then they made the movie Red Dragon because they wanted to make it a trilogy.
I mean, sort of getting into like real life inspiring film. This Heat was actually inspired by
Oh yeah.
like the real stories of what were the name of the
It's
uh
the same guy,
Chuck Adamson.
Neil. Oh, okay,
Uh
never mind.
well no, Chuck Adamson was he was a Chicago police detective and he tracked down and eventually killed like this professional heist thief named Neil McCauley.
Yeah,
Um, apparently, from what I had read, the like famous coffee house scene actually happened.
right.
Adamson had run into Macaulay at a diner, and instead of having like a crazy shootout, they sat down, had a cup of coffee, and had like a little chat, and then they were just like told each other they would meet again on the street, but one of them would likely have to kill the other. Like all that actually,
Yeah,
like some of the coolest lines
yeah. It's
actually
crazy.
came from their real
Yeah,
interactions, which is freaking awesome. And then apparently I also read that this whole like yeah, he did have the script for LA Takedown. Um, but he rewrote LA Takedown into Heat in just like one all night like marathon run.
Huh.
Like he had just a stroke of inspiration, was just like, I'm gonna do it. And he gave us just one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic, like crime thriller.
It's up
So
there for sure. I mean, it is definitely one of the greatest crime thrillers, yeah, of all time, with one of the greatest shootouts of all time.
definitely a recommend for anyone that hasn't watched Heat. All-star cast, amazing filmography, amazing location shots, shots that then you will recognize from like San Andreas and Vice City. You will recognize from The Dark Knight. So super highly recommend for anyone that hasn't watched this film or hasn't watched this film like me in a very long time. Give it a chance. Don't be off put by the almost 3 hour runtime. But those are my final notes. You got any final notes for the people?
Nah.
All right, and with that, we will catch you all on the next one.
Later.